Hello, hello. Look at my notebook. You can see that I'm already a good section of the notebook deep in terms of having notes. Anyways, if you experience a difficulty, or you say I'm being held back by X, or I can't succeed in this way because of X, like I can't lose weight because of my metabolism, or I can't, you get the idea. Here is the question. There are many other people who face that same barrier. Some of them succeed, and some of them do not. Now, whether or not you succeed right now with it, or because of it, or whatever, let's say if you continue doing what you're doing in 5 years, which group does your actions more align with? So, the problem is that these kind of reasons are generally valid. But everybody has valid reasons that they can't succeed in some field or some aspect of life. And sometimes you can say that maybe this aspect or this field isn't that important, or sometimes you can say this is what I would have to do to make it work with my situation. Everybody has a different situation. And I like to complain a lot as well. I don't complain as much now, but yeah. Anyways, I'm not going to go too deep into that. This one's by Alex Hormozy again, where he's talking about how he talks to these startups, and some of them will just say, like, as he listens, he can hear the mistakes they're making. And the mistake he mentions in this clip that led to this note was that when he listens to what they're doing, so they're going, we're the startup, this is our goal, this is what we do, this is what we have, this is our specialty, and we keep focusing on this specialty, and it keeps adding potential for what the company could do. But the problem is that this is the reason that the company cannot progress from where it is now, and they're not addressing this reason. So until they address this reason, the bottleneck essentially for the growth of the company, then the company's not actually going to grow or grow much in scale. So for example, let's say you have the best product and you keep making the product better and better, but you have no marketing, you have no coordination, or like your sales, you don't have sales. So it's like you can keep improving the product, but if you're not connecting it with your target audience, your company's not actually going to grow. Another example is if you have the ability to reach millions of people, but your product sucks and you don't improve it, your company's not really going to grow. And so like the company, like you're composed of all of these different factors, and if you keep focusing on the one factor that you're best at, but that's not your limiting factor, then you're not making the most effective use of your time. Like, it'll still help eventually once you address the other factors, and here's the thing, right? I don't own a business, you don't own a business, but why is this relevant? Well, that's kind of because our life, like, maybe we don't have product, marketing, all of these, but we have ourselves, our skill sets, so that's basically the product, or like our personality traits, or whatever it is that, what we become good at. So in this case, and a skill set doesn't necessarily just mean for a career or a job. Like, if you're good at communication, if you're good at handling a relationship, that's relevant for your relationship. If you're good at, parenting, if you work on parenting, then that's going to be relevant when you have kids. If you're good at networking, that's going to be helpful if you need help in some way, and so on. So the product would be our skill sets and ourselves, and then there's marketing, which is our ability to connect with the people. So your ability to, for example, find a partner, find a job, or like find the company to hire you and position, the ability to find the right friends that will actually increase your happiness. So in this case, happiness is the currency, or like life satisfaction, whatever it is. Whereas the business would be generally money or environment assistance if that's your company's metric, or so on and so forth. Stock price is also a different one. Stock price is not the same as how much money your company has, but so there's those. And yeah, I mean, for me, product and marketing are all I can really think of off of the top of my head. But like those are the most important. Marketing and sales are kind of the same, but those are like only two things I think that every single company, every single product company needs, really, because like everything else is mostly just for these two things. Okay, but I also don't know business, so I maybe I'm just forgetting like 18 things on the list. Okay, so let's keep going on what Alex was talked about. I am X, I have X, I do X are limiting phrases. So like, or like I need to X for X. So his example was like if they talked about I need to have my morning coffee. So that's a limiting belief. You can have a coffee every day, but if you say I drink coffee because I think it helps me, fine. This puts you in the frame where if there was evidence against coffee helping you, maybe you would try something else. Like that gives you the power. But if you say, I need my morning coffee to function, that builds dependency, it builds reliance and weakness, basically. Limitations, barriers, boundaries. I am X. Or say, for example, I am an anxious person, or I am all or nothing. Like I have to go all in or nothing. And it's like when you say that, it's like, or say that makes you, it disempowers your free will, essentially, as if you're controlled by these character traits. Whereas he says that you should say, I have a tendency to go all in on things, or I have I feel I have an inclination to feel anxiety when in certain situations. Okay, let's see, what else did I write? I have to, I must, I need, I am, etc. are limits and reliance on habits. Another example is to say like I need to get 2 hours of exercise every single day. Like that's like what if there was a certain day where it's like maybe it's best for you to like things are just more important that day, and it's better, like it doesn't make sense for you not to skip your exercise even if you have the habit of doing it every day. Like sometimes maybe there will come a day where you've built up the track record of doing it every single day, so that if the day comes you can take a break without actually having any consequences. Like I try to exercise every day, but like if something happened and it just doesn't make sense for me to allot to that time that day, then I will skip it, and I won't feel bad about it because I know that I didn't skip it every day before that, so it's not a big deal. If I had a habit of drinking coffee every day and then I felt like I needed the coffee, like the first time it makes me feel better, the second time it makes me feel a little less better, and so on until if I had a graph, right? So this is like time, and this is the benefit of coffee. The graph would look like this, right? It's like, and then you have the state of not drinking coffee. It looks like this. So it's like, if you drink coffee like this, have a reliance on coffee like this, then at this point here, you drink coffee to achieve the same state you would have if you never drank coffee from day one. Right? I think a lot of people who drink coffee every day end up with a graph like this, where it's like, this is what performance with coffee, and this is performance without coffee, whereas this is the performance if you never drank any coffee. Like the baseline, right? obviously, also, if you don't get enough sleep, then it makes sense for you to just drink coffee, or else you wouldn't be able to function properly without it. But also, just get the sleep, right? So like that's not. It's basically just saying, I'm gonna make my body think I got enough sleep, and it doesn't actually replace sleep. It just makes you feel like it can temporarily let you feel like you got enough sleep, but health wise you still didn't get the sleep. Reward yourself rather than rely on external applause or affirmation for your personal affirmation. So it's like, if you do the things you do and you feel good about it, so it's like you reward yourself by feeling good about having done it, then that's better than if you rely on other people telling you that what you did was. Now, that's not to say that other people telling you that what you did was good isn't good. Like, that gives you oxytocin, serotonin, etc. It's not always both. It depends on the situation, but like, it's good to obviously have those things, but that shouldn't be the reason you do them. Like, you should be able to feel good without it. Maybe not as good, but you shouldn't feel bad if you don't get applause, right? Or that you feel that it wasn't worth it. And the reason for this is because that means that if there's no one around to cheer you on one day, then you'll just quit. That's basically what it comes down to. So it's like, and you don't even have to get, it doesn't even have to be career-wise. Like, this can be for hobby, right? It's like, and the reason is because, let's say you don't do anything in your life this way, then your life is basically empty. You need to have at least a few things in your life that you do. And you don't need anyone to see you for you to find it worth doing. Even if it's like your own recreation, I guess. Like, if your recreation makes you feel bad for doing it, then either you shouldn't feel bad for doing it, or you should find something else to do for your recreation. Okay. Wait. Oh, I see. This is a comment about game design. If you want a skill-based game, now, first of all, I want to make clear that games don't have to be all entirely skill-based. Skill should be related. Your decisions should matter in every single game, but they shouldn't be. There are some games where you're not meant, like, let's say a coin flip, just hypothetically. Your decision doesn't actually matter. But if you were to play chess, then your decisions are the only factor. Now, here's the other thing. There's in between. Some games, your decisions are some skill-based. The most skill-based online games, your decisions matter, but RNG is always going to be involved. So from the perspective of game design, if you want it to be skill-based, now aside from skill and luck, there's one more aspect, which is time-based. Actually, and time-based happens to be mixed with money-based. So, but that's a little less PvP focused. I mean, I guess you could have like base builders like Clash of Clans or something like that, but gachas aren't really about the PvP for the most part. But anyways, so for PvP games, it's skill-based gameplay versus luck. The problem with like Hearthstone and stuff is that there's too much output RNG. So the note I wrote here is, the quality of the outcome should be directly correlated with the quality of the decision, as in the decision of the player. So if the player has a decision, right, it's like, should I choose A, B, C, or D? And then after making that decision, they perform the action associated with the decision. They make the decision to perform this action, and then the things happen, and then you get a result. You get an outcome. The outcome should be directly correlated with the decision in terms of quality. And what Hearthstone sometimes does is when you have cards that say deal 5 damage to a random enemy, the quality of your decision to play this card has nothing to do with the outcome. The outcome could hit a 10-5 or a 1-1. It's like, yeah, that kind of outcome is not dependent. It's not directly correlated with the quality of the decision. So that's just input versus output RNG. But anyways. Also, obviously, occasionally you might have a bad outcome, but it should like manage out over time, and there should be a large discrepancy. Like if someone makes all the wrong decisions and gets like a 30% win rate, and someone who makes all the right decisions gets 70%, that's not actually very good. Well, okay, maybe all the wrong decisions is an exaggeration, but like if someone makes pretty bad decisions and versus someone who makes pretty good decisions and they get like 30 to 70% win rate, that's actually not bad. Like expected win rate against the same elo, right? But like if someone makes all the right decisions versus someone who makes all the wrong decisions, they're gonna have 100% win rate, and I think this is reflected in basically every game. But like nobody makes all the wrong decisions and nobody makes all the right decisions. So I think in Tessel, every top, like to reach top 10, you needed around 75% win rate, and to reach like top 3, you needed like 80% win rate. And obviously this is relative to the field, and that was pretty good because, well, most of the people you face make pretty bad decisions. And I don't think it reached that level in Hearthstone. Okay. Make peace with things outside your control. If there's one lesson I've learned through reading all of these books, listening to all of these podcasts, listening to all of these videos, it is to make peace with things outside of your control. And this doesn't just mean you have a circle of influence here. So like and that everything outside of it is your peace. Now, technically this is the case, but here's the clarification I want to point out. Within your circle of influence, whether that be people, yourself, your room, etc., there are going to be things that you don't have control over, which is the outcome. You have control over what you do, but sometimes the input-output function between action and outcome will have variables that that are outside of your control. And that also you need to accept that that's outside of your circle of influence. Now, I'm not going to say I've mastered this. I'm not going to say I've even come close to mastering this. But this is a lesson that I come across over and over again, and I repeat to myself every single time I hear it. And I have to keep hearing it over and over again. Every single time. To improve. And this isn't the only thing. The flip side of this is to take charge of things within your control. And this one I struggle with even more. The first one is easier. This step is easier. Make peace with things outside your control. This one is a bit easier. And also, your sphere of influence is dynamic. It's not fixed. It can change in size.